Hello everybody, and welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please click on like and subscribe. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today I want to go over a Bosch table router I bought. I bought this on Home Depot. I'll put the link in the description below. It's a router table and it came with a router. So I got it together in one little bundle. They shipped them, as you see, no extra boxing on them. So hopefully when I open them up, they're still in one piece, but they just put the labels on the front of them, shipped them out like they were. But it is free shipping. I could have picked them up at the store. My laziness, that's what I get. So I didn't want to do an unboxing video. I just want to show you what it looked like once I got the top box off. This is the inside box. Looks like I'm going to cut some cardboard out, flip it over, and get the pieces out of it. But again, I don't want to do a whole unboxing. But it is packed pretty well. It does look like it's all pre-assembled. So once I got the cardboard out of the way, there's two little tabs holding the fence in back here. You've got to unscrew these little screws here. And they were just thumb tight. One on that side, and again one on this side. And that's all that's keeping my fence coming out of there. Let's put the camera down to get it out. Now I'm going to mount my router to the mounting plate first. I've still got this turned upside down a bit on the cardboard so I don't scratch the face up. It'll get scratched eventually, but I'm not going to do it today. I want to remove the steel plate. Now to remove the steel plate, you need to pull back on this little tab and then pull the lever. So it looks kind of like you're supposed to push it, but you actually pull it. There's a little hole there that catches that tab. Once you get that pulled, you can grab this mounting plate and pull it out. So after I get my base plate out, or my mounting plate out, I want to remove this sub base from the bottom of the router. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my base on. So you have to remember, we're mounting it technically upside down. So if we put this way, the tabs aren't going to catch. So the tabs need to be facing technically the top of the unit. And when you flip that over upside down, that will fit in and lock into place. The next thing you need to remember when you're lining this plate up, there's an oval here. This oval has an oval slot on the top of that table. You need to make sure that lines up with the keyhole so you can raise and lower your unit without having to get underneath there and flip it. Once you line that up, find 3 holes that line up in your plate, and then put the screws in. Make sure you use a pan head screw and not the machine screws that come with it, because the machine head will not fit tightly and will hold it snugly to the base. And I always start all these before you tighten them. You tighten one too soon and you're liable to cross thread the other one. Just because your plate may be out of alignment just a little bit, but it's enough to cause you to cross thread one. One more thing you'll find is that your router and your table both will come with a whole bunch of extra screws and slots and pieces and parts. Most of them we're not going to go over because a lot of them are just for all these different mounting options for different types of routers, different brands of routers. So just about any router will fit in your table. So once you have your screw holes aligned, you want to tighten these up. Make sure you tighten these good. You don't want this thing to vibrate loose. If you wanted to, you can put a little bit of thread lock on there. You don't want to use permanent thread lock or hardening, because you want to be able to take this back off if you ever need to. Tighten up your 3 screws and we'll be ready to mount it underneath the unit. Alright, so to mount the router, all we're going to do is take these 2 ears, slide them underneath the tabs. When we get over here, we're going to pull the mechanism back. It's going to drop in place, push it forward until it clicks. Once it locks in place, the router's in position. And again, when we flip this over, we'll be able to get to our lock, so we can latch and unlatch, raise and lower our mechanism. Again, the power switch is on, I think, the back side on this one over here. But again, we're going to turn this power switch on, leave it on all the time, and then we're just going to use the front switch to power on and off our router. And while I still have it upside down, I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. Again, there's 2 plugs back here. So you could actually turn on a router and a vacuum or something at the same time. I'm just going to plug that in. Once I get it turned over where I want it, I'll find a place to attach this and zip tie it so it doesn't fall down or come unplugged on me. There where I flipped over, again, I can reach under here, unlock the unit if I need to. Up on top here, I've got my keyhole here so I can actually raise and lower my unit without having to get underneath there. So we're ready to put the fence on. Alright, so to attach the fence, I'm going to lower these screw tabs to the point where they're almost coming out I tried to do it a little bit lower, but it didn't work. The other thing I noticed is these caps slide. You may want to take something and put a little bit of glue, a little miter glue or something on there just to keep them from moving. But basically the tabs have to be all the way to the bottom. Take your thumb, put it on top to keep the screw from popping up. Down through the circle. Then you'll slide it over and forward. I had to actually put my fingers under here and straighten those little square feet out, the little plastic tabs. I don't know why it keeps getting caught. Again, it seems like a little poor little design flaw, but once you get them lined up, it'll go over and then slide forward into place. So our fence is in, the back adjustments are right here. We loosen these up, and this will let us open and close our port for our vacuum. I'm just going to keep those closed for now. We'll do another video on how to use it later. This is just an assembly video. All right, so you've got the brushes. Now the brushes basically keep the boards from kicking forward and backwards. This one has a wider piece on the bottom. This one's made for the bottom. I'm not going to put these in because I'm not going to use them for the most part of what I do. And you'll notice the feathers are going one way or the other. That keeps the wood from kicking back that way. So this is the top one. This is the bottom one. So we've also got our pusher. There's a little tab on this. Basically you line the tab up, drop the screw through, hold the screw in place, put the washer back on, tighten the nut. Again, this is another one of those pieces, me personally, I'm probably not going to use because I'm going to do this more for rounding and edges than I am making angled cuts. But I'm going to put it together so I've got it just in case I ever need it. Again, that's a pusher, so that would go in here and push your board back and forth at whatever angle you need it to be at. This little guy here, this is a bit height adjustment. So basically, you would put this in, set your bit on top of here. Should be 0 to start with, so you make sure your table's level. You start your line on 0, and then as you raise your bit up, the lever comes up and lets you know whether it's 1 inch, 2 inch, how deep you're going to actually cut into your surface. So again, that's just to adjust your bit height and how deep you're going to dig into the wood. So I pulled the fence off. This piece here is for like rounded over work. It comes with a couple screws. Hopefully you don't lose these. I'm going to have to get a little Ziploc bag, put all the screws and pieces in. That drops down through there. This attaches to the screw pin in the back, or the peg hole in the back. Now this is just basically another shield to keep you from getting hit in the face with something. It also shows you the rotation of your blade so you don't get confused and put the feed in through the wrong way and kick it out on you. Also comes with a starter pin. The starter pin goes right here. And that will help you guide your piece of wood through without it just flopping all over the place for you. So that's a starter pin. That's where the guard goes. So the next thing is the insert ring. Basically, depending on the size of bit you use, I think this is good to up to like 1.25 inches. This one's good up to like 2 inches. This one's up to 2 1/4, something like that, 2 1/2. Anything bigger than that you put in here. But you basically pick this based on the bit that you're going to insert in here. So I flipped my unit back over. I've got it plugged in over here. I'm just going to take my cord, and since this router has a handle on it already, I'm just going to wrap around the handle with a zip tie. I'm going to secure my cord to that. Again, I'm plugged in the front. I've got enough room here. I got some play. My unit slides up and down from this point here, so I'm not going to rub anything, and I can still get to my release over here on the side. So my cord's out of the way of everything. When I flip it back over, my cord won't be dangling, flopping around. So the router that came in the kit has a 1/2 inch shank on it, which is very good because it's got more power. You can do bigger things. If you've got a bunch of 1/4 inch bits, though, it does come with a 1/4 inch reducer shank nut. It's just a shank nut, almost all a shank nut. Basically, you can put this in and reduce your bits to a 1/4 inch. So that's pretty much it. Fast, easy assembly. It was pre-assembled for the most part. Took the cardboard out. Got the router mounted underneath there. Pretty much basic common sense stuff putting it together. The only thing I don't understand is it came with 2 shims, 1/16 of an inch shims. Doesn't say anywhere in the directions what the shims are for. I'm assuming it has something to do with lining up your blade or adjusting the router bit height. If somebody knows what these are for, drop it in the comments and let me know.